Good evening, ladies. In today's video, we're going to be going through the Pump.fun ICO. This is dropping on Saturday in 2 days from the time of this video. In this video, I kind of want to go through all the details that you need to know in regards to this drop, the tokenomics, and whether myself personally, am I going to be aping into the pre-sale, the ICO, am I going to be longing it or shorting it once it goes live. So without further ado, let's dive straight in. So firstly, I'm assuming all of you know what Pump.fun is. It's like one of the most popular applications of this cycle, along with Hyperliquid and stable coins in general. Those three are like the big breakouts of this cycle. And now Pump.fun, one of the biggest breakout applications of crypto ever, is launching their token in a couple of days. If you want to get involved in the Pump.fun ICO, you need to KYC. So they're going to be raising at a $4 billion valuation. There's 1 trillion tokens, total tokens. So the FDV is 4 billion, and they're giving out 30% to a pre-sale. Already 15% have been sold privately, and then there's 15% being sold publicly. So we're the public investors. If you want to ape into this pre-sale, you have to KYC. So you can KYC on Pump.fun. It's not eligible if you're from the US or the UK, which is probably the majority of my viewers, but maybe you know someone in a different country if you really want to get involved. And you can get it on the Pump.fun website, or you can get it at any of those venues there, all those different like Bybit, Gate, whatever. And if you really want to get involved, if you really think Pump.fun would be a great buy at $4 billion valuation, watch my video, this video, so you'll be able to come up with that, or help you come up with that valuation in your own head before you do that. But if you really want to, I would KYC on a couple of these platforms to ensure, like, if it does fill out really fast, you can, like, if it fills out really fast in one venue, you still have another venue where it might not have filled out yet. And I'd say the Pump.fun website is probably going to fill out quite fast, because a lot of people, obviously, that's the easiest one to KYC on. And probably the Bybit one would probably fill out quite fast, because a lot of people are already signed up to Bybit. So maybe if you really want to get involved, potentially look at one of these smaller venues to KYC on. So this is a breakdown of the tokenomics, and wait for the next slide because there's even more details that we can see. But let's start at the top right, community and ecosystem initiatives. That sounds very much like an airdrop. So it sounds like there's going to be a very tasty airdrop. 25% is insane, and also 3% to live streamers. So if anyone was live streaming on Pump.fun, I definitely should have been doing that, but I didn't. But 3% to live streamers, because there wasn't that many live streamers on Pump.fun. So yeah, the live streamers are going to cook. All the devs who launched scams on Pump.fun are going to cook. People who are trading a lot on Pump.fun directly are going to cook from this airdrop. And then all the other ones, ecosystem fund, foundation, blah, blah, blah. That's just team. Existing investors, that's the early VCs, and then team 20%. And the ICO is what we just talked about. So here you can see the cliffs. So this is what's interesting. Initial coin offering, so we'll start at the very bottom of that on the top left. Initial coin offering, 33%. So that's what we talked about. You can see it's all fully, like, you can sell it the moment you buy it. It's fully unlocked on day one, and all of these other ones are fully unlocked apart from the airdrops. So we can see community and ecosystem initiatives. It looks like it gradually vests over the next 1 year. So basically airdrop, if you want to claim it straight away, it's probably like a 50% fee to claim it straight away, or you can wait until next year and claim it all, something like that, because you can see like it gradually increases over time. So the other nice thing about this is that the existing investors and the team, so they're like the VC and the team, they don't get their tokens for another year, and then it's gradually vesting over whatever 5 years from there. So on day one, there's no sell pressure from the VCs directly. Like they can't sell any coins because they don't have them. Same with the team, and even the airdrop people aren't getting all their airdrops straight away. So the only people who can sell their tokens on day one are the people who are buying the tokens in the ICO. So why would you sell the ICO? Like if you bought it for 4 billion, why would you then sell it for 3 billion, if you know what I mean? Like people who are buying it are not going to sell it on the same day, unless they're just looking for a quick flip. But that's just something to be aware of. There might not be huge sell pressure on the first day. But on the flip side, obviously the early investors, I think they're all up, 1000x, 200x, 100x. They're all up massively. The team is all up massively. So it's likely that they can just short the perps on Binance or on Hyperliquid or whatever. So they can just short and basically sell on day one by shorting, because they know even if it pumps loads, they'll get the tokens in a year's time. So it's like a delta neutral way to sell. So to summarize the tokenomics, quite a bullish because the private sale sold out at a $4 billion valuation. The private sale people, they got the exact same terms as the public sale. So it's basically all comes down to whether or not the public sale sells out straight away. And if the public sale sells out straight away, that's obviously going to be extremely, extremely bullish for the Pump.fun token. Okay, so let's talk about what justifies a $4 billion valuation. Where did they come up with this figure? Is it overpriced? Is it underpriced on a fundamentals basis? So we can, first of all, we're going to look at the revenue that Pump.fun is generating. Overall, they've generated almost $800 million, and that's all being converted to USDC straight away. So like all the SOL that they earned, they just sold it straight away into USDC. And I think their operational costs have been like extremely low. I think there's like 11 people working there. So basically the 780 million that they've generated, they're probably still holding most of that because they haven't had huge expenses. So they've generated 780 million. They have almost $1 billion on their balance sheet, and now they're raising 600 million in the public sale, and they said they've already raised 600 million privately. So they're going to add another 1.2 billion to this 800 million. So they'll have $2 billion on their balance sheet. Like, that is just an insane amount of money. That's like bigger than any social media raise, like before they got acquired. Like that's just an insane amount of money. So what are they going to do with that? They've kind of not really been telling us, or, what I do like is they have huge ambitions. So they're really going after the other big social media platforms. They want to kill Facebook, TikTok, Twitch. And how are they going to do that? They're going to have to probably pay content creators, pay streamers huge sums in order to get them to start streaming on Pump.fun. Because Pump.fun is really going hard on the streaming aspect. As you can see from their airdrop, it looks like they really want to reward the streamers on there. And probably the fact that there is, a community incentive that goes on for another year probably means potentially, hopefully, that there's going to be like a Pump.fun farming season that anyone's using Pump.fun can say, okay, I know there's going to be another airdrop, so I'm going to use Pump.fun religiously. I'm going to stream on Pump.fun, and that'll potentially bring a lot of Web2 users and like normies, like retail, into crypto, onto Pump.fun, and gambling on coins and being able to essentially bet on creators, which is something that has been tried in crypto so many times. Another platform that I like is Time.fun, where you can bet on creators and you can buy minutes of their time and trade those minutes. I think Pump.fun are sort of doing a similar thing here, in the fact that you can buy the coin of a streamer, and in order to stream, you actually have to own it. You actually have to have launched a coin on Pump.fun. So they really do have huge ambitions from what it seems, but at the same time, they haven't really told us at all what they need all this money for. Because maybe they just wanted to buy new yachts and stuff like this, but to be fair to them, they've already built an excellent product and innovated it and made it better over time. So they are a very competent team. You can't really deny that at this point. And your man Alon, he seems kind of funny, and he obviously likes money, so he probably wants to grow this platform over time as well. Let's start looking into the revenue, because that's where we're going. So we did talk about Hyperliquid at the start. If you didn't know, Pump.fun, like on an annualized basis, is making almost the same amount of money annually as Hyperliquid. So, and as we know, Hyperliquid's fully diluted valuation is actually over $40 billion. So Pump.fun is raising at $4 billion. and it's earning the same amount of money that Hyperliquid is earning, but Hyperliquid's valued 10 times higher. Now, is that revenue equal? Not at all, which we're going to talk about, but that's just like the bull side scenario. That's just like a way to put it in your head. Here we can see the revenue. I want you to look at the green bars for Pump.fun, and this is since it launched, so I know it's a very long time period, so it's kind of hard to see the details. But if you look in the very last few days, maybe I'll bring up a different chart as well, so you can see in the last few days the Pump.fun revenue has dropped. So it was averaging between 1 and 1.5 million up to like 2 million per day, and now it's dropped to about 500k per day, and that's over the last few days / like the last week. And if you've been involved on Twitter, if you've been involved in crypto, you've probably seen Bonk.fun, which is Bonk's meme launchpad, has like taken off. It's just got I kind of think, well, I'm pretty certain that this is just a short-term people trying to trade a new meta, which would be the Bonk.fun platform. I don't think Bonk.fun has taken the majority of the launchpad market share now. It's overtaken Pump.fun in the last week, but obviously I do think this is just like a short-term thing. But I do think Bonk.fun is here to stay and will be the number 2 player for sure after Pump.fun. But what I think Pump.fun are going after, they're going after something a little bit bigger than just a meme launchpad. They're kind of trying to create a new social network with a meme launchpad attached to it. And yeah, even though Bonk.fun has taken a little bit of market share, or like basically all the market share in the last week, I do think that's going to be a short-term thing. And Pump.fun will get back to like 1 to 2 million revenue. And you can see, you know, in the height of the meme seasons in like January 2025 and November 2024, it was averaging like $5 million a day. So $5 million a day, that's like $1.5 billion annually, and with a 4 billion FDV. Now, obviously, well, let's just talk about, is that revenue sustainable? Are they going to be earning, you know, $1 to $2 million a day? And definitely will Pump.fun be able to keep doing that? Because if it is earning $2 million a day, that's like 600 million annualized, which would put the PE at like 8, like a price to earnings ratio of 8 for the Pump.fun token, which would just be absolutely ridiculously cheap. There's no guarantee that memes still remain like super hot and people love trading memes on Pump.fun. It kind of seems like, I do think if Bitcoin breaks out, memes will go crazy again, which is obviously very bullish for Pump, but I don't think that's guaranteed whatsoever. And comparing it to Hyperliquid, like Pump.fun basically had the entire market share for the last year. They had 90% market share. So the market share for meme launchpads was like, you know, maybe $2 or $3 billion annualized, even at the very best of times. Whereas Hyperliquid is involved in the perp landscape, which makes about $20 to $30 billion annualized, and that's just like a growing narrative. That's a growing industry. Like trading perps is growing, and it's already a huge industry, and Hyperliquid is gaining market share in that huge growing industry. And Hyperliquid's revenue is much less choppy. Obviously it spikes when there's more volatility, but for the most part it's not as dependent on the crypto landscape as meme trading is. So it very much depends on whether or not you think memes come back in a big way. And I do think memes will come back after Bitcoin breaks all-time high, which I'm assuming it will, hopefully soon in the next few months, and things get a bit crazy again. But it kind of looks like, if we're looking at the chart of Pump.fun's revenue, it looks at least it looks stagnant, if not like it's declining. So generally when you want to invest in something, you want to invest in growth. You don't want to be investing in something that's in a decline. So is Pump.fun ever going to reach the 5 million daily revenue that I was earning at the start of this year? Maybe. Is it going to earn more than that, like at the peak of this cycle, if we assume the peak is later on this year? Maybe, maybe not. That's up to you to decide. I would be a little bit hesitant to assume that would happen. Whereas something like Hyperliquid, I think it's still going to be growing. The volume and the revenue it's generating is probably going to continually increase, generally increase over the next year and next couple of years. and maybe it will drop a little bit in the bear market. What other kind of applications could we compare Pump.fun to? So obviously a lot of people make the comparison between meme coins in this cycle and NFTs in the last cycle. So basically these were the most speculative parts of the crypto industry in those two cycles, and it's the thing that really took off in both of those cycles. So what would you compare Pump.fun, like making a lot of revenue in this cycle, like the NFT equivalent in the last cycle would be something like OpenSea. And OpenSea raised at a valuation of 13 billion in the last cycle. For the best part of like a year, OpenSea was making like annualized about $1 billion on an annualized basis. So, you know, on the same order of magnitude as Pump.fun. So you can kind of see where like that was 13 billion, which is a bit over 3 times of what Pump.fun is raising at. Another example we could use is ApeCoin, got to a maximum market cap of 3.6. I know that's not really exactly the same. Blur was another NFT platform that only got to 1 billion in market cap on the public markets. Now that was the biggest NFT platform that kind of vamped OpenSea, but it kind of came out at the end of the NFT blow off top. So like I said, I do think Bitcoin's going to break all-time highs, hopefully soon. And if that happens, obviously meme coins are going to go crazy again. Pump.fun coins are going to go crazy. It's probably a good opportunity to make good money. However, it's gotten way more competitive. There's so many coins launching. You kind of have to have a little bit of insider knowledge, or you need access to really, really good tools. One of the tools I've been using is ATM.DAY. So if you want to try this out, you can get a month for half the price and then an extra 7 days for free if you want to try out this. It's basically tagging all the insider accounts. It's using AI to analyze all the best launches and what coins are trending based on profitable wallets, essentially what it's doing. So I think it's, if you want to be like locked in, it's probably good to try out some of these tools. So you can try this out if you want. But basically it's just sending you the trending tickers, hopefully before everyone else see them, and then you can potentially be ahead of the curve. That's the idea with that. Going back to Pump.fun, am I buying the token on launch day? At the moment, I'm going to be going camping, so fuck that. I'm not missing camping to buy Pump.fun. I don't care if I miss a 2x. But what I did do is, because I am slightly bullish on it, and I think everyone kind of has the same idea. Everyone kind of thinks, yeah, the Pump.fun sale is going to sell out really fast, and then it's going to pump 2x. I'm going to sell for like a 50% gain, and I'm just going to size up. So I think a lot of people are thinking like that. So I think a lot of people are going to size up, you know, put 10 grand, 100 grand, like the whales are going to put $1 million into this ICO, and then they're going to sell for like, when you size up on a trade, you're much more likely to sell early. Like say you only put $100 in a trade, then you're like, sure, I can just leave it for a 10x, I can leave it for a 100x, I don't really care, I'm not going to take profits to make $50. But if you put in 100 grand and then you're up 50%, then it's likely you're going to take profits. Well, depending on your, you know, size, but for most people, if put in 100 grand and they make 50 grand in a day, they're probably going to take profits. So that's kind of the way I'm thinking about it. People are sizing up and they're going to be happy to take profits at like 6 billion or like 8 billion. But I do think I think it's very likely that it will sell out. If it doesn't sell out, that's like going to be extremely bearish. So basically what I've done, I'm just longing it on Hyperliquid, and I'm just eating the funding. The funding is, at the moment, it's only 10%, but I've longed it at a 5 billion valuation. I think we can get up to 6 to 8 billion. It's just a small position. It's not like super high conviction. I think it's probably, you know, in and around the fair valuation for it, but maybe a little bit higher. I think it could catch a pump off initial drop. If it doesn't, I think we're kind of cooked. I think it also really helps the market conditions that we're in. It looks like Bitcoin's about to break all-time highs. That's really, really good for pump. Now the other like drawdown, the other downside obviously is Pump.fun taking a bit of market share away. But I think most people realize that that's not really a huge threat. Like if they lose a little bit of market share, if they lose like 20-30% market share, it's not the end of the world, which I think is probably what's going to happen. But at the same time, I don't think this is going to 10x, so I'm not like, it's not going to go 5x, it's not going to be worth 20 billion, unlikely. Like maybe max it could get up to 10 billion. So I think that's how I'm playing it. Just open a small long, not going to be like putting my entire life savings. I think a lot of people are doing that, expecting it to pump up to 10 billion. They're putting a huge chunk in, and yeah, they'd be happy with a 2x or something like that. The reason that I longed is because I do think the downside is somewhat limited. The fact that, like what I talked about at the start of this video, the tokenomics, is that there's not going to be a huge amount of sellers on day one. So people aren't really going to sell below 4 billion unless it doesn't sell out. If it doesn't sell out, then, you know, we're completely cooked. But I'm assuming it's going to sell out. Maybe it could even take a while to sell out, but as long as it sells out, it's very unlikely that you're going to lose, you know, a huge chunk of money, because like even if you longed at 5 billion or you managed to get in the pre-sale of 4 billion, I think it's quite unlikely that it's going to go a lot lower than 4 billion because of the way they've structured it and because it's probably slightly undervalued. So the risk to reward is kind of strong, just in the fact that the downside is limited. Even though the upside isn't huge, I think the downside isn't huge either. So that's another nice thing about this ICO. But again, not super high conviction. I don't think like it's not the next Hyperliquid or something, just in the fact that I don't know about meme coins for the rest of the, you know, 5 years out. Are people really going to be still trading meme coins on Pump.fun? Potentially, but also, you know, potentially not. So yeah, I don't think there's going to be a lot of people who are interested in shorting below 4 billion, and assuming that Pump.fun does well, how else could you play that if you want to get a bit of beta exposure? You could look at other launch pads. So say Pump.fun just goes straight to 8 billion or straight to 10 billion. Something like Launchcoin is going to pump probably 2 to 3x, probably more. Something like Bonk is going to do really, really well because Bonk has their own launch pad, which is pumping recently. What are some other plays apart from Launchcoin plays, or sorry, Launchpad plays? I'd say some Pump.fun memes could do well. Some Pump.fun memes that, you know, they're tangentially related to Pump.fun. Obviously, Filecoin is the biggest Pump.fun meme at the moment. But if you look at the memes that Alon, the founder, likes, I think he likes Housecoin. I think he likes Chill House. I think he likes Neat. And they're ones that I've talked about before. There might be some other ones he's interested in, but you can already see that these coins that he likes have pumped a lot on the back of this airdrop, or the back of this token sale. Now, I probably should have talked about the airdrop, but yeah, this video is way too long at this point. Maybe we'll talk about the airdrop in another video. So if you want to see that, subscribe, like the video if you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.